Sometimes the silence feels louder than words. You wake up, make dua, and continue your life. Yet a quiet question stays in your heart. When will my turn come? But what if this moment is not about waiting for someone else? What if it is about becoming the person Allah is preparing? What if your future spouse is not asking you to hurry, but asking you to heal, to grow, and to trust Allah's timing? Before love arrives, there is something your heart needs to understand. Stay with me. There are seasons in life when everything feels paused, as if your story has stopped moving forward. You look around and see others progressing, building lives, forming bonds, while you remain where you are. Yet this stillness is not abandonment. It is intention. Allah never pauses a life without reason. What you call delay is often divine refinement. Allah slows the pace so your heart can catch up with your destiny. He knows that arrival without readiness can harm more than help. Preparation is mercy disguised as waiting. When Allah prepares you, He works quietly. There are no announcements, no signs you can easily point to. Change happens within, shaping your reactions, strengthening your patience, and deepening your trust. These internal shifts matter more than visible milestones. You may feel ready because the desire is strong, but readiness is not measured by longing. Allah measures stability, endurance, and sincerity. He prepares you to carry blessings responsibly, not impulsively. Every moment of waiting adds strength you cannot yet see. You are learning how to stand without leaning on anyone else. This independence will later protect love from becoming need or desperation. Allah removes distractions during preparation. Some connections fade, some doors remain closed, some plans fall apart. These are not losses, they are clearings. Space is being made for what truly belongs. Preparation often feels uncomfortable because growth stretches the soul. Comfort rarely produces strength. Allah knows how much you can handle and pushes you gently, never beyond what you can bear. In this season, Allah is teaching you patience without bitterness. He wants you to trust without resentment. These qualities cannot be taught quickly. They are learned through time and surrender. You are being trained to find peace without external validation. This peace will later prevent you from clinging too tightly or fearing loss. A calm heart loves better. Allah prepares you to recognize what is healthy. When chaos no longer excites you, you know growth has happened. When consistency feels attractive, readiness is near. Waiting teaches discernment. You begin noticing intentions behind actions, sincerity behind words. This awareness becomes protection in future relationships. Preparation strengthens your emotional regulation. You learn when to speak, when to stay silent, when to let go. These skills preserve harmony later. Allah is aligning your inner world with your future reality. He does not want contradiction between who you are and what you receive. Alignment prevents pain. You may feel unseen, but Allah sees every struggle, every tear, every moment of restraint. Nothing in preparation is wasted. This season teaches you how to rely on Allah before relying on anyone else. That reliance becomes the anchor of your future marriage. Allah delays connection until connection will not distract you from purpose. Love should complement your journey, not replace it. Preparation removes urgency. Urgency clouds judgment and weakens boundaries. Allah replaces it with clarity. You are learning how to sit with uncertainty without panic. This emotional maturity becomes essential later. Allah strengthens your self-worth, so you do not accept less than what aligns with your values. Preparation teaches gratitude for what you already have. Gratitude multiplies blessings. This season reshapes your expectations. Fantasy gives way to realism. Realism builds lasting love. Allah heals old wounds quietly during waiting. You may not notice healing until pain no longer controls you. Preparation builds resilience. You become less reactive, more reflective. Allah is teaching you how to choose, not just feel. You learn that loneliness is temporary, but self-respect lasts. Preparation trains your heart to trust Allah's plan fully. You stop measuring life by timelines and start measuring it by growth. Allah prepares your patience for future disagreements. You learn to listen deeply, not defensively. Preparation refines your intentions for marriage. Allah removes emotional baggage you would have carried into love. You become comfortable being alone without feeling incomplete. Preparation builds confidence rooted in faith, not attention. Allah shapes your character quietly, away from pressure. You learn the value of stability over excitement. Preparation teaches you boundaries without guilt. You begin attracting peace instead of chaos. Allah aligns your habits with your future responsibilities. You become emotionally available but not dependent. Preparation strengthens your ability to forgive. You learn to communicate calmly. Allah deepens your compassion through solitude. You become intentional with your energy. Preparation builds emotional endurance. You learn to wait without bitterness. Allah prepares your heart to give without fear. You grow into someone who can receive love responsibly. Preparation removes desperation from your desires. You learn to trust timing beyond understanding. Allah strengthens your faith through silence. You become steady where you were once anxious. Preparation transforms longing into patience. You learn to value quality over speed. Allah builds your foundation before placing love upon it. What feels like delay is protection. What feels like stillness is growth. What feels like waiting is preparation. And when love finally arrives, you will realize Allah was never late. Many hearts expect love to repair what time and hardship have damaged, but another human being was never meant to carry that responsibility. Peace cannot be borrowed from a spouse. It must already live within you. Allah knows this truth, and He protects you by not sending love too early. When inner stability is missing, even sincere affection feels overwhelming. Small misunderstandings become heavy, and minor distance feels like rejection. This is not because love is weak, but because the heart has not yet learned how to hold it. Allah allows this season so you learn to stand emotionally on your own. Stability grows when you face silence without panic and loneliness without despair. These moments teach strength that no relationship can provide. Love built on emotional need becomes fragile. It asks for constant reassurance and fears loss at every turn. Allah does not want love to exhaust you or the one meant for you. A spouse cannot be your healer. They can support, but they cannot replace inner work. Allah heals you first, so love later becomes companionship, not survival. Inner stability comes from knowing who you are in Allah's sight. When identity is rooted in faith, love no longer threatens your sense of self. Allah delays love until you no longer expect it to complete you. Completion comes from tawakkul, not attention. Without stability, love becomes the center of life. With stability, love becomes a part of life. Allah chooses balance over obsession. A heart still searching for worth will cling to affection. Allah strengthens self-worth, so love feels safe, not desperate. Emotional independence allows you to love freely. Dependence turns love into fear. Allah removes fear before introducing attachment. Stability teaches you how to regulate emotion. You learn not to react impulsively or speak from pain. These skills protect future harmony. When inner peace exists, disagreements do not feel threatening. They become conversations, not conflicts. Allah prepares you to receive love without losing yourself. This preparation prevents self-erasure. Inner work teaches boundaries. You learn what you can give and what you must protect. A stable heart does not confuse intensity with sincerity. It recognizes consistency as love. Allah removes emotional chaos, so love does not amplify it later. You learn to soothe your own anxieties. This prevents placing emotional weight on your spouse. Inner stability allows space. You do not fear distance or silence. Allah teaches you how to be whole alone, so togetherness becomes choice. Without stability, love becomes the only source of joy. Allah expands joy beyond people. You learn patience during emotional discomfort. Patience later preserves relationships. Stability teaches trust. Trust reduces suspicion and insecurity. Allah heals abandonment fears before allowing closeness. A stable heart understands that love does not mean constant presence. You learn emotional balance, not emotional suppression. Allah builds strength where you once relied on reassurance. Stability creates resilience against disappointment. You stop seeking constant affirmation. Allah allows you to practice emotional self-control. You learn to love without possession. Stability teaches you to respect yourself. Allah prepares you to give love without expecting rescue. Inner peace allows love to flow naturally. You become comfortable with vulnerability without fear. Allah replaces emotional hunger with contentment. Stability teaches you to accept imperfection. You stop demanding perfection from others. Allah shapes patience into your character. You learn to sit with discomfort without escaping into attachment. Stability teaches emotional maturity. Allah strengthens your sense of self. You become less reactive, more reflective. Inner peace allows empathy to grow. Allah removes emotional dependence. You become secure in who you are. Stability allows love to feel calm. Allah prepares you to love responsibly. Love becomes partnership, not pressure. Inner work becomes the foundation of connection. Allah builds peace first. Then love can safely arrive. Who you are becoming quietly shapes the life that is coming toward you. Long before two people meet, their inner worlds are already aligning. Allah connects hearts through growth, not coincidence. What you cultivate inside determines what you will be able to sustain outside. You do not simply meet someone and then build a future. You meet them carrying habits, beliefs, fears, and patience that already exist. Allah allows time so these inner qualities mature before they are tested by love. A heart filled with restlessness often chooses out of urgency rather than wisdom. It mistakes intensity for destiny. Allah slows the process so calm replaces rush and clarity replaces confusion. Your future marriage will reflect the emotional patterns you are forming now. If you practice patience today, patience will appear in your home tomorrow. If you practice restraint now, stability will greet you later. Allah shapes character before companionship. Character decides how love is handled when emotions fluctuate. Without this preparation, love becomes fragile under pressure. The inner world decides standards. When self-respect is weak, tolerance for mistreatment grows. Allah strengthens your sense of worth, so you do not accept what damages your soul. As you grow, what once attracted you begins to lose its appeal. Chaos stops feeling exciting. Consistency starts feeling beautiful. This shift is a sign of inner readiness. Allah allows time so emotional wounds do not guide your choices. Healing changes perception. You begin choosing from strength instead of fear. Your inner state affects how you interpret actions. A settled heart does not assume harm. It seeks understanding. Allah prepares you to respond, not react. You are learning discernment in solitude. Discernment protects love from illusion. It allows you to see people clearly, without desperation. As patience grows, impulsiveness fades. You stop rushing conversations, commitments, and expectations. Allah replaces urgency with trust. Your future spouse will feel the results of the work you are doing now. Calm conversations, emotional safety, and steady affection all begin in this season. Allah teaches you to regulate emotions before emotions are shared with another. Regulation prevents love from becoming overwhelming. A heart grounded in faith does not chase attention. It waits for alignment. This waiting filters out what is not meant to stay. Your inner stability changes the type of people you attract. When peace lives inside you, disturbance feels out of place. Allah aligns hearts when desperation leaves. Desperation clouds judgment, calm sharpens it. You begin valuing intention over charm, consistency over promises. This maturity protects future commitment. Allah allows self-reflection, so you recognize patterns that once harmed you. Awareness breaks cycles. Your emotional growth determines how conflict will be handled later. Growth now prevents damage later. A steady inner world does not fear disagreement. It understands that differences do not equal loss. Allah refines your communication through silence. You learn to listen deeply before speaking. You become intentional with words because you have learned the weight they carry. Your inner patience becomes a gift to your future spouse. Allah strengthens empathy through loneliness. You learn how pain feels, so you respond gently later. The calmer your heart becomes, the safer love will feel. You stop seeking completion and start offering companionship. Allah shapes you into someone who chooses with clarity, not fear. Your standards rise naturally, without arrogance. Inner growth removes the need to chase. Allah teaches you that love is chosen daily, not felt once. You learn emotional responsibility. Your future marriage will carry the tone you are setting now. Allah prepares you to be present without being possessive. Healing reshapes attraction. You begin recognizing peace before excitement. Your inner world becomes stable ground. Allah allows time, so you grow into the partner you hope to have. You learn to give without losing yourself. Your reactions soften. Your expectations become realistic. Allah replaces anxiety with assurance. Your heart becomes a place of safety. What is not aligned no longer stays. What is aligned begins to find you. Allah matches readiness with meeting. Who you are becoming decides what you will build. This season is shaping your future home, and Allah is patient with your growth. Some paths feel close enough to touch, yet never fully open, and this is not by chance. Allah sometimes allows nearness without union to teach restraint and wisdom. What almost happens often carries lessons without permanence. Not every connection that feels meaningful is meant to last. Some are placed briefly to show you what you are not ready to carry yet. Allah reveals these truths gently, without breaking your heart. There are meetings that would have shaped you before you were strong enough to hold them. Allah delays those encounters so love does not become a burden. You may wonder why timing never seems to align, why effort does not lead to union. Allah sees the full picture long before you see the beginning. Protection often feels like disappointment in the moment. What is prevented hurts because imagination fills the gaps. Allah protects you from futures that would have taken more than they gave. Some people enter your life only long enough to expose unhealed areas. Allah uses these brief connections to guide healing, not attachment. Meeting too early creates dependence before stability. Allah waits until attachment can exist without fear. A heart still learning patience would turn love into urgency. Allah stretches time so urgency dissolves. What you wanted intensely may have drained you slowly. Allah removes what would have weakened your peace. Some connections would have required you to compromise values. Allah never allows love to demand loss of dignity. You may feel ready, but Allah measures readiness differently. Desire does not equal endurance. Certain meetings would have amplified insecurity instead of faith. Allah chooses faith. Protection often looks like distance, silence, or fading interest. Allah intervenes quietly. There are bonds that awaken wounds rather than heal them. Allah separates before pain deepens. Love formed too early often grows around need instead of choice. Allah wants choice. If grounding is missing, attraction becomes dependency. Allah delays until grounding exists. Some people would have distracted you from purpose. Allah removes distractions before attachment forms. Timing protects values. Allah preserves principles by controlling moments. A connection too early may have demanded compromises you were not meant to make. Allah does not allow intimacy to outrun maturity. You may feel you lost something special. In truth, you were spared something heavy. Some futures look beautiful, but collapse under responsibility. Allah sees collapse before it happens. Protection is silent. It does not explain itself. Allah blocks paths without revealing reasons, strengthening trust. Meeting too early could have shaped you around another person instead of faith. Allah wants identity rooted before relationship influence. Some connections would have slowed spiritual growth. Allah removes delay. Temporary sadness is lighter than permanent regret. Allah prefers discomfort now over destruction later. Certain meetings would have distracted you from healing. Protection sometimes feels confusing because clarity would hurt more. Allah does not rush blessings that require strength. A heart not steady would misinterpret love's challenges. Allah spares you from lessons too painful. Some people would have mirrored chaos instead of calm. Allah aligns peace with peace. Meeting too early could have created imbalance. Allah keeps distance until balance exists. Some connections test boundaries before they form. Allah forms boundaries first. Protection hides behind patience. Allah closes doors you knock on to guide you elsewhere. Some roads are blocked because danger lies ahead. Allah sees harm long before you feel it. Meeting later allows love to arrive clean. Allah spares you attachment rooted in fear. Delay is safeguarding, not denial. Allah separates to preserve, not punish. Protection may hurt now but heals later. Allah protects futures by controlling beginnings. One day, clarity will replace confusion, and you will thank Allah for every meeting that never happened. Many people unknowingly place love at the center of their lives, believing it will finally bring rest to the heart. They wait for companionship as if it is the finish line. But Allah never created love to be the destination. Love was meant to walk beside purpose, not replace it. When the heart forgets its ultimate direction, relationships begin carrying expectations they were never designed to hold. A spouse becomes responsible for happiness, identity, and emotional fulfillment. This weight slowly exhausts love. Allah places Jannah at the center so everything else remains balanced. When the heart knows where it is going, love becomes support rather than obsession. A relationship built only on emotion struggles when emotions fade. But a relationship built with Allah at its core bends without breaking. Allah prepares hearts to love with the hereafter in view. Marriage is a path of growth, not arrival. It teaches patience, mercy, sacrifice, and forgiveness. When love forgets this purpose, frustration grows quickly. If love becomes the goal, disappointment follows every imperfection. If Jannah remains the goal, mercy fills the space where flaws appear. Allah wants love to strengthen your journey to Him, not distract you from it. This alignment protects both hearts involved. A heart focused on the hereafter chooses differently. It values character over charm and sincerity over excitement. When Allah is central, disagreements no longer threaten connection. They become moments of learning instead of reasons to withdraw. A heart attached to Jannah does not fear temporary loneliness. It understands that companionship is a blessing, not a requirement for worth. Allah teaches this priority during waiting. The delay quietly rearranges desires. Love that competes with Allah for attention eventually drains the soul. Allah removes this competition by settling priorities early. When worship becomes consistent, love becomes lighter. The heart stops demanding constant reassurance. A relationship grounded in faith encourages growth even when feelings fluctuate. Allah does not want love to replace prayer. He wants love to lead you toward it. When Jannah is the destination, patience becomes easier. You are no longer racing time. A heart anchored in the hereafter does not panic over worldly timelines. Allah delays love until this calm perspective settles deeply. Love becomes healthier when it is not treated as salvation. A spouse cannot carry the weight of destiny. Allah alone carries that. When Allah is first, love does not weaken faith during hardship. A heart oriented toward eternity forgives more easily. Arguments feel less threatening when the larger purpose remains clear. Allah shapes hearts, so love becomes a source of barakah. A relationship tied to the hereafter values mutual growth. Love becomes a place of mercy, not demand. Allah does not want you to lose yourself in another person. He wants you to walk together toward Him. When the heart is content with Allah, it loves without fear. A Jannah-focused heart does not demand perfection. It understands human weakness and chooses patience. Allah wants your spouse to be a companion in worship. Love becomes a means of earning reward. When Jannah leads, love follows correctly. A heart oriented toward eternity chooses wisely. Allah delays love until it can serve a greater purpose. Love without purpose fades quickly. Love with purpose deepens with time. A relationship rooted in the hereafter survives trials. Allah does not remove desire. He redirects it. That redirection turns love into ibadah. When Allah is the goal, love becomes a blessing. Blessings grow when they point toward Jannah. The heart learns to love without forgetting eternity. Worldly love becomes lighter when eternity is remembered. Allah teaches balance before granting closeness. Purpose keeps love steady. Faith keeps love safe. The hereafter keeps love pure. And when love finally arrives, it walks with you toward Allah, not away from Him.